Everybody, welcome to the Crypto Facts. This segment, today's show is called XRP Slayer. I'm not one of those people that just say, hey, only Bitcoin or only XRP or only whatever. I personally do not like the company Ripple. I don't like what is represented behind it, but guess what I do like? I do like to make a monetary source of income. So with that being said, hey, you know what? We're here. So anyway, so this segment, it's a new one called XRP Slayer. I actually have a YouTube channel called XRP Slayer, and I was recording for that because somebody keeps attacking my YouTube, and this is literally my 11th YouTube channel. I had a whole bunch of subscribers before, so if you subscribe to the Crypto Facts in the past, subscribe here. But we're going to talk about how you can make 2,700% before XRP actually gets to the all-time high, because I am a trading channel, but this section and what it is called the Crypto Facts, remember, this is not financial advice, but for entertainment purposes only. That's how we got to say that disclaimer, because, you know, that's what we got to do. What I'm talking about here is just a collection of information that I've sourced together from what I think is there. You always do your own research, of course, because you don't want to just rely and just be like, yeah, this guy told me this, and you know this thing got to happen. But let's look at this actually. Is this gonna pump up? Is this really gonna pump up? But no. Let's say some real information here. So I got this call to the XRP Slayer. I got other stuff and other things here. We're gonna stick to XRP Slayer since this is the show. How do you make 2,700% or 27,500? So I had all this maths up earlier. So let's delete this so we can start at the beginning. We're gonna talk about it now. I was talking about how earlier XRP has a potential to, in trading, is all about probability. It's whether it's could be a 60% up, 33% down, so on and so forth. There is no, we got YouTubers on here saying that they don't do technical analysis and stuff. And I've said that in the past. It's more of a marketing thing. If you use candles and you're looking at patterns and stuff, that is technical analysis. That is analysis. Look up the definition. What they can define that is we aren't drawing mumbo jumbo using all these indicators and stuff on here, or all of that stuff, which, I mean, this is the, what the heck was that? That was a ghost. But yeah, this is some stuff that I might draw for my students in my Discord school. So there's stuff that's there, but I personally can eye these things and be like, okay, this little triangle of stuff, and you can use it as a handicap. I like to visually do it. So I'll have this icon, hide all drawing tools, hidden, because that's something that could distract what I am trying to show you guys. So for the channel XRP Slayer, we have a Discord that can be created specifically for that, which we'll talk about XRP, Stellar Lumens, as in XLM, Cardano, ADA, and cryptocurrencies like that. So let's get through with it. I've been talking long enough. So what I'm looking at here is that XRP looks like a sell setup. Normally what happens is these things, this is like a bark pattern, and I'm going to talk to you guys like some of you guys are very new, so you can show this to somebody that doesn't know anything about cryptocurrencies or trading at all. A bark pattern is where something looks like Bart Simpson's head, for that cartoon. You can look that up on online, DuckDuckGo. I would suggest that. And you could put Bart Simpson's head. What this means is, and this happens in all markets. This isn't just a cryptocurrency thing like some people think. It's specific for that. It's finding liquidity. So if there isn't any liquidity here, it's going to push it down if it's a chance to do it. Because this could have easily been a bull flag, right? If this part right here, this is where I would use the drawing tools at, and I just don't delete them. This part right here, if this just wasn't here, this could have been a bull flag, and then it goes like that. But what winded up happening is it was enough pressure there or not enough buyers there. So it's going to look for liquidity and go that way. So let's take away this stuff right here before I forget to actually take it away. Now, what normally happens is there's a it barts down and barts up until it figures out what it's going to do. And this actually might be the case right here, where it barts in two different directions. But so far, this actually just looks like what I would call a sell setup, or it could be a bear flag is another way of saying this, because this is large red candle right here. What I do is called the Slayer strategy. I called it the Slayer strategy myself. What it really is looking at the price, okay, the price, which bakes in the time, because everything's about timing. So it's price, pattern, volume. Okay, the pattern is what you're looking at to see what direction it's going to go. That gives you the probability with the volume too, and velocity, how quickly something is moving. Now, I trade on the 1 minute chart for a great majority of the time. What that really means is that I see these patterns happen so often, so quickly, that when it happens on a 1 hour or a 1 day or a 1 week, or not 1 day, or daily or the weekly or the monthly or the yearly or whatever the higher time frame is, I can see it already because I'm used to these. So this just looks like a sell setup, or some would call it a bear flag. I say pump form or dump formation. So this can go either way. At this specific point, I am not. I'm focusing on making videos because to me, it's actually a little bit difficult to try to make videos talking about trading and trading at the same time. But I've done it in the past. I've done live trades and stuff like that, and I can re-upload some of the older videos if you guys are curious about that. But and I just did some live trading for my Discord actually last weekend, or was it the weekend before that? Yeah, I think it was the weekend before that. But anyway, so here we are, sell setup, where this would go. This, frick. Okay, here we go. This is what I was trying to do. This wave around slightly up and then down again about the equal distance or somewhere around there, right? So let's take that off before I forget and leave it on there. And it's a jumbled freaking thing like I've done with Bitcoin. It's a freaking jumbled mess. So that, let's get that out of the way. So I got that out of the way for you guys. Now, let's look at it a different way. Now, if XRP comes up here, which I think I in this right now, coming up to about from this spot right here, from here to about here would be, I think, 13%. I could be a little bit off. It could be 12%, but let's look. Oh, delete that. Delete. You got to take out the ruler tool, and you can press shift and left click. Let's see. Oh, no, it's more like 10%. Okay. My first thought was correct. But I did not say it out loud. I thought it was a little bit different from where we are earlier. I guess I did measure it from there. And then to about 23, that would be about that percentage that I said before. Let's see. Yep, 13. So I would wait until XRP gets to about 23 cents. I guess you can get in early to your heart's content and do what you want. Me personally, I'm going to go in and look at this from a different perspective. Okay. Sorry about that. Here we go. Now let's look at the where it was. Now on Binance. Now you see this? I have these here where I said, hey, this would go up and break down. What did it do? Went up and broke down. Now I did this before this happened, but you guys don't know my past or anything like that. So this is just the first, to you, it appears to be like the first on the channel. So here, XRP went up to 150, or it was launching on there on Tether, against Tether, on Binance to 150. So if we went up and brought up the weekly, fired that up here, and I'm going to bring up a different chart too. We're going to wait till it gets to 23 cents. So just above 23, I take out the ruler tool, bring it up to about 150. Here we go. We're going to say 550. Okay, 550%. That means you get a 5.5 times, because every time it goes up 100 without that leverage, your you would be going up just 1x on your amount. So, or it would be 2x, 3x, 4x, whatever. But you will be going up 5.5 times, 5.5 times. So let's just say you had $1,000 times 5.5, even though you need a calculator for it, but visually speaking, you will be at 5.5K. Now, if you had $1,000 divided by 23 cents of XRP, that would be 4,347 XRP. Okay. Now, here's the strategy of how you can get to that 27 and a half. Let's say you use 5x leverage. Okay, 5x. That means every time something goes up 20%, you would increase your profit not by 20%, but by 100. That means you would go up and get an extra one of whatever you started with. So I would get an extra 1,000 every time it goes up 20%. And so you see that it's 550 of these in there, right? So what you would do is you would take 550 divided by 20. Now you got 27 and a half. Okay. Multiply that. So that's how you get the 5x, because if you multiply it by 5, or just follow me for a second. I just had a brain fart. So you divide it by 20 so that you can have your difference in 5x. And I can show you this with a built-in Binance calculator as well. Okay. I'm also trying to do something else in the background. So it's 27 and a half. So we do 27.5 times 4347.83. Okay, we're going to round it up. XRP right here, right? That will give you an extra, because you still have your base of 4347. That will give you an extra 119,000. Talk about the road to 20K, right? You got well over that right here. You got 119,000. Now, remember, the price would be $1.50. Okay. Now, I could be wrong here, because normally this should be 27 and a half thousand. So I think I might have been wrong on that math. I'm thinking of how Bitseven does it. And so if you would like to support the channel and everything, we don't do ads. Look in the description below. And for this segment, you just click the affiliate links and use those. Okay, that would actually help us out as far as not having ads. And if you would like to join the Discord school, the prices are below. The regular one, the regular school on how I show my strategy in trading fully. That is 1,800, and we're doing 1 minute chart, very high leverage. What this channel, what this specific episode of XRP Slayer, and then I have one called Crypto Slayer, is talking about are the low leverage trades. If you would like a more of a conversation, not necessarily just a trading strategy or anything, but a conversation on some basic stuff as far as compared to the 1 minute, like some people can't stand the emotional stress of it. But instead of waiting until this goes up, who knows how many months or years this will take to get to even $1.50. That's not even all-time high, which is 331. But instead of doing that more lax, this is for the hodler. If you're the hodler and you just want those nice, consistent, okay, we're going to talk about those, because we might jump in and out of this thing as it goes on, and you're getting, okay, maybe 100% profit, it drops back down, 100% profit, and you're going in and out like that, right? If you want to talk about those, the conversations and everything, and more of the hodl investor approach, then that is actually $20 a month right now, because it's a newer Discord channel per se with that. But if you want the high profits, which means you're taking more risk on your trades, and that's 100x Bitcoin, 75x Bitcoin, 75 or 100x Ethereum. That's 30x to 75x XRP and all of those things where you're trading on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and 15-minute chart. Hey, you know what? We got those because we got some high rolling people. We got a person that made over 2,000% on a Bitcoin long. She did that actually just before she joined the group. Um, we had a person in the group. He's the record holder for the group. He was up 1,000%. He closed at 760%, and I called the 35% dump, which actually resulted in a 50% dump. Got over 5,000% on my Bitcoin short 24 hours before it happened on March 12th. But that's different things. So if you want to stick here with us, let's go. Let's go over to Binance. For some reason, I'm logged out, but okay. Let's go over to XRP. XRP, that should be up in the top. There you go. All right, we're on the XRP. You would change this because it's on cross. You change it to 5X, leave it on cross. And let's explore what this is. So if I was correct, you should have $27,500 at the end of it. So what we got to do is we're taking 4347.83 XRP, and we have to multiply by 5 because of the leverage. So we would have 21,739.2. We're going to round it up to that. So we're going to say the quantity is, what is that again? 2173.2. 2173.2. The entry price would be 23 cents. The exit price would be $1.50. Now, this should be 27,500 if I am correct. 27,600 because I did round up a number. I rounded up even when I multiply. So that means we are going up 27 and a half roughly with this. Now, we could always determine target price and so on. Now, the issue here, now this looks all nice and dandy. You wouldn't necessarily get this because you have some fees. The other thing is that Binance, being a perpetual futures, every 8 hours you're going to be charged something if you're going with the trend or against the trend. So you could either make some money because now I think the shorters, it might be longs that are in control. So therefore, anybody that's in a long position, you get charged a small percentage, and it tells you what they are on Bybit, BitMEX, Binance futures. And I have the links for Binance futures and Bybit below. Binance futures, you do get a 5% kickback if you use our affiliate link. So you do get some of your fees back. And you actually can get less fees if you do, instead of doing an instant order, you have your order in the order book. It's actually like half the fees or something. But it depends on your login. Now, if you're in the US or something to use futures, I mean, you got to follow your own laws and everything like that in your specific countries, but you should use a VPN. You can use a free one out of Opera, set it to private browsing, set it to Europe or Asia or something like that. But that's up to you and your own discretion. I can't advise for that because it's not financial advice or the advice for that. That's the risk that you would like to take in those things. So this is the liquidation price calculator. I use this on Binance, even though this strategy can be used on Bitseven. The thing is that because this resets every 10 days, you will have to put in a new order, okay? You have to put in a new order, okay? That means if you had all of those, you had the 4,300 XRP, right? You would have to then put in a new 1 XRP order at least to keep your trade active, because every 240 hours, they say, they will be, what is that? I'm looking at my screen on something else. They will be telling you that they will just close your order automatically. But on Binance Futures and Bybit, if your order is too large now, they will automatically close it. It's called auto deleveraging. They will give you a little indicator saying that you need to sell off part of your position, and then it will be auto deleverage, okay? That means they will close your position for you if it is basically too profitable. And what they say is that they can't afford for you to sell your position, and then they can't afford to pay you. So that's the downfall of using something like that, that you may not be able to take advantage of the whole thing. So my specific strategy is I'm going to put a 5x leverage. I might actually go 10, um, but you have to have the appropriate double that cash to be able to handle that. So here we go. Quantity 21,739.2. Now let's just say, because that was 1,000, let's say we had 5,000 extra dollars in our wallet. Liquidation price is 0. So that means with 5,000 extra dollars at 5x leverage, the liquidation price is 0. Let's see what our wallet balance is. And remember, all you got to do is add or subtract the 0. If you only got 100, then you need this. If you only got 10, then you need that. If you only got 1, then you need, well, actually, you couldn't even do it on Binance Futures unless you sent yourself Tether to then transfer it over, because the minimum to buy and sell anything on Binance is $10 increments. So, yeah. But if you only had 10, yeah, I guess it's total. That means you would be using, I guess, $1 out of that. You really shouldn't be using more than 1 to 3% of your portfolio anyway on any of these things. But see, with $4,000, your liquidation price would be just under 5 cents. It's still a possibility for that to hit there. So let's just say you were at 4,400, 2 cents and something. I would find that very unlikely, still probable. I would like to get this under a penny. Let's see where we get to under a penny. So under a penny is about 77.50. No. Okay. So we'll be saying 4,800. So $480 if you were there, and that's under a penny. That would be very hard to for XRP to get to that. If it gets down that low, I guess we are in a different issue, because from here it would be 10x to multiply. If that went to 9.3 cents, then 93 cents would be 100x. That is a really, really, really steep drop at this price, although it has consolidated above 1 penny for quite a while. So, like I said, we would be in a much different issue if it drops down there that way. But if you want to say, hey, you know what, I like to be safer, my liquidation price would be, I can't get liquidated. So if we want 10x, same 1,000. We want 10x here. That means we would have to double this position. This would be 23.4, 23.4, 78.4. 23.478.4. That's the double there. Try to just do that math in my head. And oh, not 23. Oh, it's 43. The hell am I talking about? So yeah, that's 1,000. Yeah, there we go. So 43,478.4, right on the dot, $1,000, and that would get you 55,000 at that point, and you see 5,500. So you're following me. So that, but that means the math would be you need an extra $10,000 to have a no there, because even at 9,000, you probably still, oh, I guess a 9,000. Oh no. It would be 43. 7, well, what do we have here? I don't feel like redoing the math. 478, 43, 478.4. So it'd still be 2 cents if you had 9,000. So I like to have a 0% chance of being liquidated. The only thing is if the exchanges get hacked. Binance has a Seifu fund, so I'm very confident because I was trading on them before when they got hacked. So I'm pretty confident in their ability to reimburse people and to leave the trades open. Really, they allowed us to have our trades open, but there's still a chance. The longer you stay on an exchange, here are the risks. because everything isn't rosy. The longer you stay on a specific exchange, the higher the chance that it could get hacked or things change where you can't get your money off and everything like that. So you don't want to leave yourself at risk in that way, I guess. Um, don't overexpose yourself, basically. So I'm going to do this strategy. Me personally, I would put it on Bitseven. I will put it on Binance Futures, and I put it on Bybit. The reason being is that Binance Futures may auto deleverage me. Bitseven leaves it open, but in the case that Bybit and Bitseven have not, to my knowledge, been hacked, there could be an exit scam on one of those two, whereas Binance is very unlikely to have an exit scam since this guy is meeting with governments and everything like that and going on tours and tours, but there's a chance. So I just want to hedge my probability here that if Bit7 uh, or Bybit get hacked and they can't reimburse the funds or an exit scam or anything like that, that's where I would be on most of them. But this is how you would be able to take out a 5x leverage trade and make 2,700% before it gets to the all-time high. Isn't that freaking amazing that you can do that before it gets to the all-time high? Let's look at the all-time high. This is on Bitstamp. The all-time high was 330, or was it high? 331, $3.31.7. That's what the all-time high was. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that that could be there? That means it has a higher growth potential for you than even Bitcoin at this point. Now, if you use, let's say, 10x or something like that on Bitcoin instead of 5x, obviously you can get liquidated. It's almost, you need to have extremely small amount or extremely large amount compared to the rest to not get liquidated on Bitcoin. Now, there are strategies that you can apply, like how I looked at here. This was the short I took right up here. I took out 3 shorts on some really good profit here. I took out a short here because this is what you do. This is part of what we're going to talk about. And I'm not going to talk about it on this as much, but mainly on the main crypto facts when we're talking about how to do a strategy here. Now, you see this red candle. This was the most recent dump. This was a green candle. You can keep going back and you can notice even back here in June, which is where this whole thing is. Red volume higher than the other one. So that means the next time it comes back, the red volume usually should be higher. Then it was eclipsed by this green one. That was a 35% jump. I noticed on the 1 minute chart that when things happen in a certain direction, they will almost always, especially if it's the first one. This was just kind of random here. We can do this all with no news, okay? Most news is irrelevant, over 90% of it, in my opinion. And some trusted traders that I follow in the traditional markets have stated that, and they have the data to back it up. And so here you go. The next time that this increases, it should have been a big green. But where was the big green? It was kind of right here. And matter of fact, it was lower. This green right here, as you can see, is lower than this one. That's not a good sign. That was my first take. That was not a good sign. So with that being said, as this was increasing, the volume was going down. That's not a good sign. If prices increase as volume is going down from a pump already, it needs another volume increase, or else the buyers are just kind of running low. So once it got up to actually right here, I'm like, wow, this is in the 10,000. I actually shorted a little bit early, had myself, was prepared to get liquidated up in this area. So I had enough, my position was small enough that I was okay with 100x leverage. Now, with 100x leverage to say I'm going to get liquidated in this area right here. Then I saw this happen. I think this was a Super Bowl or something like that. Somewhere, am I incorrect on the days? There was something that happened and I thought was a Super Bowl, and it just like pumped up and then it dumped immediately. And I was like, man, I don't watch football like that at all anyway. Um, so to me, I'm just like, whatever. I'm gonna trade during that day because it's gonna be less people, and I bet during halftime it's gonna pump. What did happen? Halftime, the thing pumped, and then it immediately dumped hundreds of dollars. I caught that on the way up, caught it on the way down. Got out a little early because I didn't know what the heck was happening, and got in a little bit later for the dump because I'm not quick to make these moves all the time. And then I opened up another short at 10.3 right here, right on here. And then one more, it was a 10.1 again, and that was a 10x leverage though. And I'm like, okay, I might be using a little bit too much if this goes here, so I'll be okay to take a loss. And I was trying to hedge a bet or something like that, and it dumped. My target was sub 8K. Then I noticed that this pattern is mirroring this. This is what you got to pay attention. This is why we do patterns here. They don't always mirror, but they often do. And so also it looked like a very ugly head and shoulders is what I was thinking of. Now, some people, if this was the other way, if it were, let's inverse this chart for a second. And this is just a preview of my normal one. They would say, oh, wow, this looks good. It will stop here and do some cup and handle move. But instead, it just kept going up. In this case, that was down. So this is a repeated pattern too. This is a repeated pattern. This is a repeated pattern. Let me show you what it looks like. Do you notice something? This is this. This thing right here actually turned out to be this. I thought that this right here is what we were going to do here. So I was prepared. I actually traded all of this right here based on this. I traded all of this area right here based on this right here. And I was like, okay, are we right here or are we over here? And it turns out we are right here. Because what happened? We dumped. This looks just like this image. Just like this. It's not going to be exact all the time. But this is right here. And they don't always do this. Sometimes they cut and paste and they place the patterns in different areas on it, but it's the same pattern, but they copy paste. It's like a copy paste code. Very, very manipulated or just happenstance with humans. In either case, it doesn't matter to me because this pattern is a pretty reliable thing to me. So we're right here. Does that mean that we dump back down? Because this is a sell setup, except this one is getting a lot higher than that previous one was, which was a sell setup, and then it kind of consolidated and dropped. Will this drop, but because it pumped up so high, which I still believe this is a high likelihood of dropping, but if it does go, so I'm not specifically trading here, I'm taking some days off for my scalping, and I'm going to catch a specific move I mentioned in my Discord, whether it goes down or up. And then if it dumps, will it just dump to about, mid 6 or high 6Ks, low 7Ks, consolidate for a while, and then rock it off? I think that's a probability there. But yeah, that's how reliable patterns are. We can see this thing happen over and over. And I kind of gave away some of the secret sauce that I got that I use, but it doesn't matter because I'm okay. And here we are dumping. We are dumping and dumping. So with that being said, that's about it, guys. If you want to support that, go below. The email for the email for our channel for the XRP Slayer, $20 a month is below. The email to join the Discord school, where you're going to learn about high leverage, and you have this built in. You got this built in. We're talking about XRP, Stellar Lumens, Cardano. We're talking about VeChain. In certain parts, it has this built in. That's $1,800. Or if you can get, you want to get the VIP one-on-one consultation, that's 5.5K. One-time fee here. So with that being said, you guys have a good one.